Welcome to the Bob and Tam Show today. Putting
Nation.
Nobody's heard very much of that here lately. I've been doing some highlight videos, things like that. We're just kind of going back and looking through some of the footage that we have. And today I think we got something special for you. We're going to step back into, we're going to go back 44 years. And show you a dealer, actually it's longer than that because I guess he's been out of business for a while. But a dealer that had been in business for over 44 years. We did this, I don't know, about 10 months ago. We were down there in Lakeland, Florida. We gave you just a sneak peek of this gentleman, Don Huffman. They're in the racing. They were back in, I think 1971, I think is when he first opened up his dealership there in Lakeland. He was the original, not the original dealer, but he was one of the ones before the current one that they have now. And so I want to take you back and let you take a little more look at his private collection that he has. If you guys like this, I do have more footage. And a lot of people said that when they watched the video, wow, that guy was really great, had some great knowledge. And here we go today. We're going to put it out there for you guys to check it out. And if you like it, I have more to put on the next day or two.
So don't forget to subscribe, give us a thumbs up, think about Patreon.
Racing corner over here.
All the stuff he's done.
All these trophies and all race bikes. Mule road racer and a sprint road racer. And he run this one at Daytona. And several times he got second place every time. Never could beat the factory racer. And he did dirt tracking. But he felt like he was too old for it, so he quit dirt tracking. That's a 62 Sprint. That's the first year, well 61 was the first year for the Italian bike. This is 62, so, and Donnie was born in 62. So I had a 62 Sprint, but of course, I sold it over the years, then I decided I needed another one. So this is original, the way they come out in 62. And it was a good off-road bike. I really enjoyed dirt bike, riding in the woods with it.
Did you have to restore it or?
No, I bought this one the way it is. Somebody else did it.
Oh, somebody else did all that work, huh?
No.
Looks nice.
Mine, the one I had, I pulled it all down, painted it white. I don't know why, but I did. But this is original color here. And this is Donnie's dirt bike. Back when we were dirt biking, he was riding a Sportster. Everybody said, I didn't know Harley made dirt bikes. Well, they didn't. Donnie made it. he put a Yamaha front end on it. And you can see he got some jack-up plates here and to give him more height. And just a standard Sportster. And this is a 71 Super Glide. That was the year I went in business. So I had to have a 71.
There you go.
Because I like this is what I sold back in 1971. And I got all the little lightweights that Harley used to sell. A lot of people didn't know Harley ever sold little lightweights. Of course, they owned an Italian company that built all these Italian. I got 6 American-made lightweights and 6 Italian-made lightweights. And this is a cafe racer in 77 and 78. Willie G. Davidson, and he was a designer, designed this cafe racer around a Sportster platform. It didn't sell very good. They had them around 2 years and then they quit. The only one I got here that original started my collection was this 1934. That's a flathead.
How long have you had that?
Early 90s. I don't remember exactly when I bought it. And back in those days, it was you didn't have no money to buy keepers. You had to pay the payroll and do the payroll, And I have 2 1942 military bikes. This one is a WLA. It's a 45 flathead. Harley Davidson built 88,000 of those for the government during World War II. It's a chain drive, and it's 3-speed, of course, kickstart and all that. And the government said we need a motorcycle that's shaft drive. And so Harley Davidson didn't have a shaft drive, so they got a captured BMW and copied it. And this is the result here. This is also a 45 or 750 cubic inch, but it's got opposed cylinders like the BMW, if you notice. But it's been changed to the American size, American threads. In other words, Germany had metric, but when Harley copied it, they changed it. It's even got the regular Harley front fork that used on that bike, the Harley generator, carburetor, all that stuff, and instrument, gas tanks, all that Harley Davidson stuff that they'd already had. And they made 1,000 of these for the government. 1,010, in fact. Never went to war with it. It was never taken overseas, but some of them ended up over there, because some ended up in Australia. I don't know how, but I restored 2 of them, sold one, kept this one. This one was the second one I restored. And
Pretty
so
cool.
there's only 1,010 of them made, and there are not that many around now. They're mostly all in museums. The WLA, they sent 66,000 over in Europe, and never brought. After the war's over, they didn't bring none of them back, so they all stayed over there in Europe. So every now and then you'll find one that's a Russian return or something. I bought one from an importer in Atlanta, and it looked good, but when I started working on it, it was junk. So I got rid of it. And I don't know history on this one. It apparently never went overseas. It was restored right here in Florida. But I bought it out of Wisconsin because a friend of mine that wrote the book on restoring Harley Davidson motorcycles was involved in helping this guy restore this bike.
Cool.
And I got a whole picture book of step-by-step
Oh, that's kind of cool.
restoration, yeah, on that bike.
So who was the guy that restored it for you then? You said he restored
Well,
it.
I bought it, I don't remember the name of the guy, I'd have to look it up in the book. But he lived in South Tampa,
Okay.
and he restored that bike, plus he had other military vehicles. He passed away. His widow had it all shipped to Wisconsin. She moved back to Wisconsin. So when I bought it, I had to bring it back down here from Wisconsin. But the book that I have on that shows it being assembled
Piece
here
by
in Florida.
piece, huh?
Yeah.
Cool.
The oldest bike I got in here is this one right there, 1926. And when I decided I wanted one, this is what they call a intake over exhaust, or a F-head. It has an overhead valve exhaust and a lower, what would you call it, intake valves. Anyway, I decided I wanted one and got to look, and I found one for sale in New Zealand. So I called the guy up in New Zealand. He said, no, we done sold that, but I have another one. So I said, well, send me pictures of it. So anyway, I bought this one from New Zealand.
Oh.
And I got it at a good price for an American money. And the New Zealand guy, with the difference between the American and New Zealand money, he got a good price too.
Good.
So we both made out. And it's not 100% correct, but it's good enough for a museum piece.
Yeah, you got quite the showroom here.
This is a 1948, and I built this one out of parts.
So it's a custom, huh?
Yeah, well, no, this is exactly the way they were made in 48. But it's been chromed up. Actually, it's made out of parts from a company called Ted's V-Twin. It's all Taiwan copies of American parts. It's hard to believe. It's not even, there might be some American parts on it, but it's got an S&S engine. I don't know who makes the transmission. When I got it, it was in a pallet, 2 pallets of boxes of parts, and I had to paint it and put it together. Haven't ridden it much because it's kickstart, and at my age, I can't make it run. Donnie's fired it up and rode it some, but I was afraid to go off on it, afraid if I killed the motor, I'd never get it started again. I can't ride anything anymore that's kickstart except maybe this little 45 here. It's easy to start.
Yeah,
The 34 is easy to start.
we're kind of pampered now, huh, with all those just push button start.
I tell you. I've ridden most of these bikes in here. Some of them I put together, some of them I bought the way they are now. I put this together. I bought this one off of the widow of my employee. He passed away, and she had a garage full of motorcycles, and so I bought this one off of her, and to remind me of the guy Champ Bell's the guy's name, and was putting this one together when I bought it. And it was in pieces. I had to finish it up.
You like the Humpty Dumpty ones, huh?
Yeah.
Have to put them back together again? Yeah, this is pretty cool.
That drag bike hanging from the ceiling, I only run it in one season. And when they first come out, that's the VRD. When they first come out, there was a class in AHDRA drag racing circles for that bike. And that's the only bike you'd run in there. And they had tried to fix it so people wouldn't be cheating. So they had the engine was sealed and it's got a little seal on the head so that you could detect if anybody had
Tampered
pulled
with
it
it.
apart. But later on, they decided the way to do it was hook them all up to a laptop, and they got the data off of the laptop, and it had to be within the correct specs before they could race it. And of course, they raced it in other classes, which they wasn't fussy about the motor.
Now, this wasn't one you had on your showroom floor. This is another one you just got?
Yeah. Of course, I sold these in '71, but I couldn't keep none for cheaper. We bought this one later on. I think we paid a whole lot more for it second go around than what it originally sold.
Yeah.
This was called, let's see, this was the first Super Glide. This one, Willie G took the front end off a Sportster and put it on the frame of a Big Twin, and then put that boat tail seat on there. They called it the boat tail. People didn't like it. They'd take it off and put the regular solo seat on and fender. But first Super Glide, and it had a lot of nicknames, including Sparkling America. I think what Harley advertised it as Sparkling America due to the red, white, and blue paint scheme. And a lot of people call it the Night Train. They had a black one also that was dubbed the Night Train.
It looks like one Evel Knievel would have rode.
Yeah, it's same color, ain't it?
Yep.
Now this is a kickstart model. They had both. I thought first year there was only kickstart. Then they come out with kick and electric. So consequently, Donnie's kicked it and rode it. I haven't been able to get it started by myself.
Whose custom job is this one?
Yeah, that's
Oh, the fancy paint job.
That belongs to a guy here in town that has a lot of restaurants. Charlie's Steakhouse, Talk of the Town, Texas Cattle Company, and also has one called Fish Bones, or Bonefish, one or the other, I don't know. But anyway, I've got it. It's his, it ain't mine. Maybe he'll come get it one day, I don't know.
He just stores it here, huh?
Yeah,
Oh, look, even the handle. Did you see the grips?
how about that?
Little mermaid
Yeah.
hand grips.
Mermaid tail handle,
Yeah.
mermaid handle. Yeah, it's an unusual paint job. It's a custom motorcycle. The Springer Harley Davidson come back out in, in later years with this Springer front end. Of course, the original bikes had Springers on them. That's all they had before they.
Right.
The 48 was the last year for the Springer front end until they come back out this year with this new front end. 49 had the hydraulic fork on it front. 48 was the first year of the pan head motor and the last year for the Springer front end.
Dyna was a real popular bike too, wasn't it? The Dyna?
Dyna, yeah, that was one of the Super Glide models. This turned into the Dyna after a few years. Super Glide become the Dyna Glide, and with electric start and all that. I had a Dyna Glide with fairing and saddlebag arrangement. It was called an FXR-D. The Dyna was an FXR, and the touring model FXR-D. It was a nice touring bike. I rode one out west with a couple of guys, but my wife didn't like it because the back seat sat so much higher than the front seat. She was looking over me. She'd get too much wind in her face.
Oh, this is almost like a mini bike, huh?
Yeah, we sold a lot of those to the kids at Christmas time, and Christmas morning, all the daddies called me up and said, "This thing won't run." Well, I said, "You gotta oil the spark plug. You don't have to change spark plugs," because the kids didn't turn them on fast enough to blow the oil out of the spark plug. So Christmas morning, we was out changing spark plugs. Now this is the street model here, same thing, both of them 90s. Street model, mini bike model.
What year was this out? What year did they have that?
Let me think of it. This is 74,
So it kinda
73,
competed-
74, 75.
So it kind of competed with the Honda's little ones
Yes,
that they had, the
yes.
50s and the 70s.
This has got, the American lightweights, there's a two-stroke motor, if you know what a two-stroke
Right.
is. You mix the oil with the gas. And, but in the Italian model, get rid of the Trumpy bear here. This had a separate oil tank and a separate gas tank and an oil pump down in here that mixed it for you. Where, the old
Yeah, you had to pour the gas in.
the old kind there's a cup. This is a topper scooter. A lot of people didn't know that Harley Davidson made scooters. In 1960, 59, 60 to 65, they had a scooter. Automatic transmission. The bad thing about it is, don't start.
Like a lawnmower, huh?
That's just the way you had to start it. And when you got it started, of course, you can take your hand off the throttle, you give it a little bit of gas, pull this, and if it starts, away it goes. You got to run chase it down. So they put a lock on the back wheel so that it wouldn't take off without you. But we've seen a lot of these with smashed up front ends.
Yeah, I bet.
And this has a two-stroke engine, and there again, the gasoline goes in here, and come on now. There's a place to carry 2 extra cans of two-stroke oil. Intake is here. There's 1 measure to a gallon of gas,
There you go.
which was 25 to 1. Now the new oil is so good that you can mix it 50 to 1, 50 parts of gas to 1 part oil. But you see, it's got measurements here for a half a gallon and a full gallon. You know, I sold a lot of these scooters. When I got ready to get one from a museum, I couldn't find any around town. It's fiberglass. You know, Harley come out with, when they come out with the golf car, snowmobile, they come out with a fiberglass factory. In fact, the saddlebags and fairing was all fiberglass back then, you know. So the fiberglasses don't last too long. Ask talk to a Corvette guy, they'll tell you about the fiberglass. And this is a 250 motocross. They had come out with those in 77 and 78. Donnie was just the right age back then in 77 to race one of them.
So today was the first part of the series that we got on this. I've got a couple more. I don't know how long it is. I've just never sat down and watched the whole darn series. And, well, I guess I did watch it originally when we first started it. But, you know, if you want to see more of Don telling you about his bikes and stuff, we do have a little bit more footage that we can put up in a day or so here. You guys can check it out. But you just got to let us know if you really liked it.
If you want to watch it or not.
Yep. Let's just see if we can get some viewers here. Last time we had this, we had almost 5,000 viewers checked out this video. So let's see if we can get right back up to that one again.
Yep, they're very interesting. He's a very nice man. And Donnie was really cool too. I don't know if he put anything up on Donnie, but if not, we've got him talking too, I believe.
Yep, Donnie is the racer. He races the bikes. He still does it. Mainly on the East Coast. If you go back and watch the video about 10 months ago, if you look up Lakeland 44-year dealer, it'll pop up, and we'll see from there.
Yep. So thanks for coming along today. Hope you enjoyed the video. Subscribe to our channel if you haven't already. Share us with your family and friends. Think about Patreon. Give us a big thumbs up. Ring that bell for notifications, and we'll see you on the next video.
And we got a lot more stuff going up on Patreon too, besides here. So right now, the next couple of months might be a time for you to sign up for the $9. That gets you to see most of the videos. Any of the ones that might be the wet, you know, that the little seductive videos are on the $25 one. We've put a couple up here lately, but I don't know what I got in the mix for the next 30 days or not. But definitely the $9, a good investment. You get pictures and you get to see this. And I did figure out how to do it live on Patreon. So we might try to do that maybe this weekend too.
For all of you that are out there on our Patreon, we really appreciate it. Thanks so much.
And we'll see you later.